Hi everyone, I'm Athena, and this will be part 2 of me showing you every page of the diary from Cooking Diary, and I will also be reading it out loud. I need to thank my new follower, XXAngelDinoXX. That's an interesting username. Let's start. Conundrum. I can't believe that Mr. J failed his assignment. Tracking down that old-timer Roger was apparently beyond even the best detective in Tasty Hills. What's even more surprising is that he somehow found out we're searching for him and actually wrote us an angry letter. Mr. Lee is far more prepared than we thought. Now I'm even more curious to find out exactly what led to the four of them splitting up. Sis, if they'd stayed together till now, there's no telling what they might have achieved. They might even have been able to stop Gramps' student Creighton from quitting. It's a shame that his transformation was a sham. I like the nice Creighton. I don't think anything will change that guy now. Maybe the same thing happened with Roger? Well, we'll find out soon enough. Gramps has already written him back. He wrote such a heartfelt, sincere letter. And if that doesn't melt Roger's heart, we've got no hope left. How could such close friends scatter to the four winds? But it's the fourth member of the group that's really interesting. Gramps finally told me about the foursome's most mysterious member, Eustace Frost. He was such a talented chef that he could even give Grandpa a run for his money. I wonder where he is nowadays. Tasty Hills needs talent. Today's competition revealed many talents, but the evening's real star was a beautiful stranger who turned out to be Uncle Bobby's granddaughter, and my old friend, Alexandra Calloway, the woman Mr. Gladius who was bending my ear about just recently, the traveling troupe's dancer. Mr. Gladius heaped praise on her yet again and has even named her Tasty Hill's next prima. And I have to say, her dancing really was mesmerizing. Such an abundance of complex moves combined with rhythmic foot tapping and hand clapping. The audience watched her spellbound and then gave her a standing ovation when she finished her routine. That dance really inspired me, and I'm going to put twice as much effort into my work from now on. Cooking's as much of an art form as dancing and painting, after all. Nothing beats thinking up new recipes, refining old favorites, or trying out new cooking methods. All this talk of cooking is making me want to get down to it. I'm off to get creative. The kitchen's waiting. Love Square. There keep being twists in our little romantic series. Looks like Alex Calloway has cast a steer in more than just our culinary capital's artistic circles. She's also captivated Tasty Hill's young men. Two have been most awestruck, Johnny and Martin. I'm worried in case this turns into a jousting competition to win Alex's heart, or perhaps Vivian's? The vicissitudes of love. Graham says that Alex has always been charismatic, people have always been drawn to her, so he's not at all surprised by this situation. But I'm just finding it hard to get my head around the idea that Johnny's got eyes for anyone except Vivian. Then again, I can say it from his point of view. Being friend-zoned for so long can make anyone start to think that the romantic quest is totally pointless. But I'm sure that somewhere deep inside, Johnny still loves Vivian just as intensely and will remain true to her. She's... I really can't pronounce it. It's all so romantic. It's a story worthy of becoming a bestseller. Past reminiscences. What? Past reminiscences, I think. Apologies, appearances. I have to admit that if Creighton Stiles was an actor, he'd be absolutely top of his profession. Holy guacamole! How impressive such emotion! If his performance on TV affected even us, who know all the ins and outs of his character, then the rest of Tasty Hills is bound to forgive him for his sins. What a pity that it was all just for show, as Creighton himself has admitted. Gramps is the only person who hasn't lost faith in him. So much time has passed, but I still don't understand why he doesn't want to accept who Creighton really is. Perhaps I don't know the full story? Say what you like, but Creighton's ratings went through the roof again after his TV appearance. Then again, that wasn't the worst thing. Crichton's capable of doing. We'd already started thinking that he'd go back to his old ways. But you know what? At one point in his appearance, I had the impression that Crichton was speaking sincerely. Maybe it was just that, an impression. But in any case, there was something genuine in it. Who knows, perhaps Gramps is right after all? Sporting passions. Crichton's cunning knows no bounds. It turns out that he convinced the Minotaurs to challenge the Papers just as soon as he manages to get Mr. Aces out of the city. He promised them an easy victory, but then turned to Mr. Ace for help himself and secured victory for the Charlton Snails. I guess when it comes down to it, his team's victory is just another rank on the career ladder for him. Crichton tirelessly pursues more medals and awards for his mantelpiece, using all available means to do it, and resorting to such high-level trickery that I'm actually kinda in awe of his inventiveness and persistence. It might sound odd, but I'm impressed by those character traits of his, and I'm genuinely sorry that we're on opposite sides of the fence. Safe journey. So then, Gramps has decided to go see Roger in person to convince him to return to his hometown. I get that it's necessary, but I'm still kinda sad to think of being separated from Grandpa again. When I was living in Techno City, I'd often have the same dream, Grandpa waving at me when I stared fixedly at his sad face as it got farther and farther away, gradually fading from view behind an endless line of trees. That dream is an exact rerun of what happened on the day I moved away, but I only realize that when I wake up. Now fate is separating us once again, but I've got so much more to learn from him and so much more to say, and I'm not gonna hide the fact that I'm a bit worried to be left without his help and wise counsel. I can only hope that everything works out well for him, that he finds Roger and that he returns as quickly as possible. Bon voyage, Grappy. Follow the candy wrappers. Grandpa's departure has been put off because it seems like Mr. Lee has come back to Tasty Hills, and there we were, thinking that he was sunning himself on the banks of the Cherry Sea. Why is he taking such care to hide his true location? Could he really still be annoyed at Grandpa for the difference of opinion? Or maybe it's his kind-out personality that's behind all this. Grandpa says that Roger loves spending time in his secret hideout since he was a kid. The entrance is marked with a fugufish symbol, apparently. Considering Roger's passion for technology and high IQ, it's possible that this hideout isn't just well hidden. It might also be crammed with a bunch of ingenious traps and other security devices. But we don't have any choice except to take the risk and try to find Roger's hideout, as it's the only means of establishing the truth about that awesome foursome and Michelle Chan's poisoning. So much depends on one guy now. Sleeveless is best. We managed to track down Mr. Lee's hideout, but we didn't find anything there except a cook and roller's leather jacket, and even more annoying is that the football players missed Roger at the stadium. It's incredible how easily he managed to sneak into a locked stadium and a restaurant, leaving licorice sticks right under our noses. He's always one step ahead. The Ringo's magic sticks wrappers show us that. But how come he's leaving them wherever he goes? Maybe Roger wants to be caught? But why wouldn't he just meet with Gramps face to face? I reckon that those licorice sticks aren't the only thing Roger is generously giving us. There are more secrets and mysteries in his actions than we can figure out. You know, I really do hope that there is a simpler explanation for all this. Blonde finger. Sometimes our imagination can play tricks on us, making us confuse dreams with reality and what we want with what we've got. Adam proved this when he tried to surveil Maximilian Blanc, The poor lad thought he was a secret agent, but the truth turned out to be way more boring. Adam had fallen asleep watching a spy thriller. It's a pity that his secret agent gig was just a dream, as have liked to hear some stories about dangerous and super important missions he'd undertaken. But as it turns out, I'm not the only one who's interested in this topic. Johnny pretended to be a secret agent for the whole rest of the day, which gave us all plenty of laughs. I'm serious, that guy should go take an acting masterclass. And as for Adam, well, we still haven't managed to figure out what he used to do for a living. He's extremely multifaceted, no doubt, and could have done pretty much anything. Sometimes I feel like there's way more to Adam than meets the eye. New persona. Alex shot the first episode of your cooking show in our restaurant today. It was a breath of fresh air for tons of viewers who are tired of seeing the same old programs on TV. And no wonder Alex is an extremely charismatic young woman with tons of energy. Grandma and I could sense that even via the TV screen. Not to mention Johnny, who was stunned by her determination to interview him. That lie could hardly squeeze out 2 words. However, Alex managed to edit it all together in such a way that his interview seemed totally normal. She's got Soulmaker's guiding hand to thank for that. Alex learned the art of filming and editing super fast. With her drive and ability to learn new skills, she'll win over all of Tasty Hill's TV viewers with no trouble at all. Love-hate relationship. It's true what they say, don't judge a book by its cover. I used to think that Eustace was Grandpa's age-old rival, but today's story proved to be the opposite. Sometimes friendship takes on an extremely strange form, like in the case of Grandpa and Eustace, for example. But it's nice to know that when it came to the crunch, Eustace supported Grandpa despite all the disagreements. I'd like to think that my friendship with Johnny, Vivian, and Alex would withstand all obstacles and challenges. I've been lucky to meet such wonderful friends who it's impossible to be bored around, and this is doubly handy in light of recent events. I mean, who knows when Mr. Wolf will be able to establish the imposter's true identity. All we can do is wait, but after the adventures we've had, I'm sure that we'll be able to do a bit of waiting. Night Tournament. Today's argument between Johnny and Martin ended in a tie, and all thanks to Alex's victory over the Demogargoyle in Maze Masters. It seems like the guy slightly underestimated the girl's power. And it's no wonder Vivian and Alex give the impression of being sweet and sensitive ladies, but the truth is that they could teach any guy a thing or two. But the guys have no intention of backing down either. Oh, what will happen next? I'm burning with curiosity, or is that my food burning? Oops! The Human Chameleon. The situation took an unexpected turn. The imposter Roger turned out to be none other than Creighton. I still don't understand how he managed to pull the wool over our eyes. Lucky for us, Grandpa and Mr. Wolf's plan worked, and Creighton ate the treat with food coloring in it. His blue tongue completely gave him away as the imposter. Just one thing left to do, find out why Creighton was impersonating Roger. But how? I want to believe that Creighton will repent and tell me the truth after all. Eustace's apprentice. Creighton's sincere confession took us completely by surprise. It turns out that he is an apprentice of Eustace Frost. Yes, the very same Eustace that Grandpa used to talk about. Creighton inherited his love for clever tricks, while also turning from a kind, humble kid into a cocky narcissist. Who knows what else Eustace might have taught him? Even more amazing was getting Roger Lee's real address from Creighton. I want to believe that there is still some good in Creighton and that he really has started to change his ways. The electric generation. Today was a really surprising day for all the residents of Tasty Hills. A malfunction at the power plant knocked the power out all over the city, but the restaurant avoided a total blackout thanks to Grandpa. A few months ago, he insisted we install a generator in the restaurant. The power outage affected everyone differently. Almost the whole younger generation was stuck without access to their gadgets and the internet, but the older generation adapted quickly to the situation thanks to experience. And speaking of experience and creativity, Creighton had an incredibly original way of dealing with the situation. He devised meal in the dark offer. His customers were delighted. I should think about coming up with an equally exciting offer to give Creighton some competition. It's a good thing that Andy Theoris was able to fix all the problems at the power plant, since he was the one who caused them in the first place. And it was great that despite all the turmoil, everyone helped each other out. So what seemed at first like bad luck actually ended up bringing all the residents of Tasty Hills together. Anticipating changes. We finally received a response from Roger. I can't believe he'll soon arrive in Tasty Hills. Grandpa said that Roger used to be a frequent visitor in our home. Too bad I don't remember that. I think that when I meet Roger, everything will fall into place and the memories will come back to me. Or just the anticipation of our meeting is exciting. Hang on Tasty Hills, big changes await you. The foremost expert in culinary technology is returning to town. The Nameless Hero. Truth be told, I don't believe in urban legends, but is the story about the enigmatic hero of Tasty Hills a legend? Too many witnesses are able to confirm that the mysterious man helped them, but for some reason the hero didn't answer our call. What if he realized that the restaurant wasn't really on the verge of closing? One way or another, I can't shake the feeling that he's very close by and looking out for us. Master plan. People are so clever sometimes. Today I happened to observe a battle between two sly dogs, Alex and Creighton. First off, Creighton turned up at my restaurant with his face all red and started ranting about how Alex's show is taking up airtime. How about that? As it is, Creighton's show gets run on Tasty Hill's main channel 5 times a day, but Alex came up with a little trick. She made a bet with him in hopes of getting more publicity for his show. Who knew that Creighton was pursuing the same goal from the beginning? All in all, it's still not clear to me who outsmarted who. Time will tell. Return of the Legend. It's been a long time since Uncle Roger left Tasty Hills. I don't remember him at all, but I was surrounded by his invasions my entire childhood. It turns out that Uncle Roger is more of a genius than I thought. In only one night, he can put together just about any device. Grandpa was saying that Uncle Roger left town with Eustace Frost, causing the Rossum foursome to split in half for good. Oh, I'd like just once to see the legendary Cook and Rollers live in concert. In any case, it's nice to see Grandpa so happy. Let's see how this reunion plays out. Vivian had never talked about why her parents split up before. The story proved to be complicated and educational. And I think I understand Monsieur Le Champ better now. Different people do different things when faced with a difficult choice. Monsieur Le Champ could not behave dishonestly and dismissed the violations of the restaurant where his wife worked. Did he do the right thing? That's not for us to judge. The only thing that's certain is that under the mask of a strict critic is a loving father and an honorable man. Power of the mind. Who would have thought that we would meet Uncle Roger's alter ego so soon? The second Roger has proven to be far more strong-willed. So much so that he even stole a rare stone, Caroid, from the city museum. Good thing we found a way to help Roger without breaking the law. It's amazing that Andy Theoris was able to work with Uncle Roger. Together they've already figured out where to find Nymphadora. Purple Secret of the Forest. Perhaps the forest near Crooked Pines really isn't that it? Today, the forest revealed one of its most extraordinary secrets, a cave with the deposits of the rare stone Caroid. Who would have thought that this unique stone could be found so close to Tasty Hills, and we never would have known if Uncle Roger hadn't come back to the culinary capital. Every time I meet someone new, I get a new perspective on Tasty Hills and get to enjoy another extraordinary adventure. And something tells me there will be many more fascinating adventures ahead of us. Fairy talent. I won't forget today for a long time. I've always hoped that we'd get the celebrities coming to our restaurant, and my dream came true, but as always, not quite the way I expected. The internationally renowned dancing rabbit escaped from her cage just at the moment when Monsieur Lechan arrived. It never rains, but it pours, as they say. Fortunately, they managed to find Cara before Monsieur Lechan found out about her, and his inspection was a success. But that wasn't the end of it. One of our customers turned out to be a screenwriter, and apparently our story helped him to think of a plot for his latest project. Who knows, maybe they'll make a film about us. Multispatula prototype. Creighton never fails to impress me with his inventiveness. This time he decided to take advantage of Uncle Roger's good nature and tricked him into handing over the prototype of the multispatula. We could never have guessed that he would use it to try and become mayor of Tasty Hills, which would all be fine except that Creighton would undoubtedly have used his power to close down all the restaurants in the culinary capital and create a monopoly for himself. The prototype was powerful enough for Creighton to serve all residents in his restaurants. And just imagine, the prototype isn't half as powerful as Eustace's multispatula. I'll have to train even harder as a chef to compete with that sort of power. Family Gem. To be honest, I've been wondering for ages now how Alex and Saul would work together. These two were destined to think up some kind of project together. When Saul asked Alex about her jewelry, it seemed to me that the girl hesitated for a moment. It's good that Saul's an experienced interviewer and was able to turn the conversation in such a way that she felt comfortable and confident. As a result of this meeting, we learned a little more about Alex and her family, and that was great. Return to the light, Johnny. Today, Johnny almost left us. He thought that we didn't appreciate him properly in this restaurant, and it was all because of Creighton. He decided to use the divide and rule principle and try to split up our team. Creighton offered Johnny the job of head chef in one of his restaurants and apparently told him all sorts of rubbish. We were very close to losing our dear Johnny, but thankfully Johnny managed to make the right choice and turned Creighton down. Hidden possibilities. Martin Price surprised everyone when he said he wanted to join the Tasty Hills Peppers football team. I have to give him credit, the guy was able to make it through an extremely difficult test training. Even though Martin didn't meet even a single required standard, Mr. Aziz was very happy with him. Why, you ask? Because he was impressed by his unbreakable fighting spirit. Today Martin uncovered an entirely new side of him, showing his determination and perseverance in achieving the goals he set. He really will be a pepper someday, no doubt about it. FoodTube 2.0. Hooray! At last, Miss Jackson trusted us with an assignment as important as Tasty Hills Citywide Street Food Festival. I've been waiting for ages to cook something for an event that size, but there was one problem. We didn't have the resources to deliver the quantity of food to the square while still hot, but we got some help from a real hero, Andrew Martin, Theoris III, the man who invented the famous FoodTube. Of course, it was famous for all the wrong reasons, but Andrew perfected his invention and Miss Jackson approved it. Now it will be easy for us to serve the festival. Put in the maximum effort. Roger's interview for Alex's show was a great idea. As a result, Alex and Saul Mego figured out how to find him Fedora. Thousands of people in Tasty Hills reposted the missing person image. The efforts of Alex and Saul were not in vain. They got the whole world involved in the search. We managed to find out that Nymph Fedora has often been spotted in places with volcanoes, geysers, and hot springs. She must be busy with something really interesting. Uncle Roger decided it would be best to take a short break and gather his strength before setting off on a new journey to find her. Interesting access. Needing a new idea for a video, Saul decided to shoot a clip with Monsieur Lechan. Amazingly, Saul managed to persuade someone like that to give him an interview for his vlog. As was to be expected, the video was a success. It turns out, some of the younger residents of Tasty Hills didn't even realize that there were restaurant critics in our city. But after Saul's video, Monsieur Lechan became even more famous. It was clear that the critic critic himself, wasn't expecting such success. I hope that Monsieur Lesan learned his lesson and will have a lot more respect for Vivien's work. Roger's first inventions. Uncle Roger admitted to me that the story of Johnny's love for Vivian awoke his memories of Nymphadora. He grew nostalgic about the time when they were studying together at culinary school. Uncle Roger shared various stories from his life with me, and they helped me understand him a little better. He told me of how Nymphadora always stuck close to him and cheered him up when he was in despair. A lot of his inventions would never have seen the light of day if he hadn't had the support of his beloved. It all goes to show once again that there is nothing in the world more powerful than love. At the height of happiness, isn't it great that the search for Nymphadora had a happy ending? Uncle Roger finally found his beloved, and what's more, he even decided to remain in Tasty Hills. Uncle Roger started inventing kitchen appliances again, and Nymphadora will continue work on her book. It's great to see that they still have the same tender, heartfelt feelings for each other, despite the long separation. They truly were made for each other. The Marion Brothers memorable invention. The Marion Brothers continue to take advantage of people's trust. They're organizing fake prize draws and selling counterfeit coupons. The triplets are very inventive, but it's a shame that they have to use their inventiveness in the service of crime. Thanks to their scams, Adam almost didn't meet up with Andy. I had the idea that Andy and his inventions might be able to help Adam. The Memento 2000 device, designed to restore memory, was able to unlock Adam's lost memory, but it turned out that the device was only capable of restoring memories from the last 2 days. It's a good thing that Adam wasn't too upset by all this, and the flyers he put up all over town may help Adam to find his nearest and dearest. Mystery of the Eternal Engine. My restaurant turned into a battlefield. Thankfully, it wasn't an intellectual battle. Roger Lee and Andrew Martin, Theorius III, decided to find out which of them was the greatest scientist in Tasty Hills, and they chose me to judge their duel. The world has never seen so many high-tech inventions, and they all came in the space of an hour. It looked as if nothing was too difficult for them, but I managed to find a challenge they couldn't complete. Even the most brilliant minds of Tasty Hills couldn't build a perpetual motion machine. In the end, the winner was friendship. That was the greatest battle of the scientists ever. Geological cuisine. Today events took me back to my days at culinary school. Nymphadora told me about geocooking, a truly innovative way to make food. It turned out to be a lot of fun and very educational. Pity they don't teach it in culinary school. Later, Nymphadora told me she is developing a special set of kitchen utensils for geocooking. This invention will revolutionize cooking. Win-win situation. Today Creighton tried out a new look for himself and snagged the cover shot of Analog magazine. He liked being the face of the glossy publication, and he agreed to tell us what happened with Eustace Frost's Cook and Roller's jacket. Creighton told us that the jacket was ruined and then parked in the park, but according to Uncle Roger's data, that's not true. It's a shame, but the trail that was leading us to Monsieur Le Chan's poisoner has come to a dead end. But when one door closes, another one opens. My friends and I hope that Eustace will recognize his old student Creighton, even with different colored hair. And that means that there's a chance that the last member of the Cook and Rollers will return to Tasty Hills someday. Ups and downs. By the end of his training, Martin's deliveries were going off without a hitch. Johnny and Martin quickly hit it off despite the initial challenges. It's great that Mr. Price wanted his son to be more responsible and independent. In the end, the job proved too useful for Martin since he achieved his goal of buying the Cosmic Donut. Martin unfortunately had to leave our team because it was time for him to go back to school. Searching for the jacket. The case of the Cook and Rollers jackets has taken an unexpected turn, and it came with a helping hand from the Marion triplets. One of the brothers admitted to us that they have been selling knockoffs of these jackets for a long time, and they didn't have a clue about the connection to Monsieur Lesan's poisoning. Their business means that the Dark Man could be absolutely anybody. Anyone out of the hundreds and hundreds of people who have bought a fake Cook and Rollers jacket from the Marion brothers. Oh, sometimes I feel like a lost little fish in a huge ocean. But this is no excuse to lose momentum. We still have one lead left, the nutmeg allergy. I need to talk to Monsieur Lesan. Gardener without a past. Now we know that our secret agent has a green thumb. His horticultural knowledge impressed not only Mr. Wolf but also the other gardeners working in the area. They have started meeting at the Blum's garden to attend Adam's gardening workshops. Once we realized that this was a vital clue, we searched online for information about missing gardeners, but came up empty-handed. Adam's past remains a mystery to us still, but we are lucky that now Adam is working with the world's greatest detective. Mr. Wolf loves a good mystery and he's great at solving them too. Grandpa's recipe. Monsieur Lesan surprised us all when he demonstrated his true skill in culinary criticism. He correctly named the ingredients in all the dishes he was served without a single mistake. But his prodigious sense of smell played right into our hand, because we convinced the critic to try that faithful dish once more. That's when Monsieur Lesan realized that there was no nutmeg in Grandpa's recipe, and it means that we secured a minor victory in the fight to prove Grandpa's innocence. It's given me the boost I needed to continue the search for the real poisoner. I know that I'll find them someday, and when I do, Grandpa and Monsieur Lesan will be friends again. This is the end of part 2, and soon I will also make part 3. Also, because the sound is awful in part 1, I may redo that. Goodbye. Thanks for watching. Before leaving though, why don't you check out more videos by clicking the box on your right, or you can go straight to my channel by clicking the icon on your left. Yes, the one with my face on it.